Absorbing is pleased to sponsor Jim Masterson's efforts to educate horse owners and views the Masterson Method as an excellent complement to our line of trusted products. The Masterson Method aligns naturally with absorbing products and a whole horse approach towards better horse care.
So on the hind end, there are 6 points that we use to release tension in the hind end, in the muscles of the hind end and the sacroiliac joint. It's a huge joint involving the sacrum and the pelvis with huge muscles around it. And we use these points similar to the bladder meridian to ask the horse's nervous system to start releasing tension in these muscles before we ask for movement in this end. The 6 points that we're going to use, I'll give them in the order I start with, but after you start, you're actually going to go wherever you want with these. But the first points we use are the under the tail points, and they're under the base of the tail, one on each side. I'll do the left side of the horse by resting my hand here on her left rump and putting my thumb up under the base of the tail on the left side. And how I use this is I'm going to soften my thumb and I'm going to look for a blink in the horse as I search on this spot. So I'll go through the points now. That's how you use them. You very softly, using air gap or egg yolk pressure, rest your thumb or finger on that point, looking for a blink and waiting for the horse to release tension. And the horse will tell you when he's released tension, or she, when she gives you a larger response, such as licking and chewing or yawning. So the first set of points are under the base of the tail, one on the left and one on the right. You'll do them separately, not at the same time. The next area is the sacroiliac points. I call them the sacroiliac points. There are 2 bumps here, the tuber sacral, and it's in this area. If you draw a circle around these 2 bumps and you search in that area for a blink, and when you get a blink, you'll stay on that spot until the horse releases tension. It could be 5 seconds, it could be a minute. You just have to have patience and stay soft. The next point is what's called the pelvic point. On the bone of the pelvis right here, not the upper one bump, but this lower bump is the pelvic point. So I'll rest here, searching for a blink and staying there until I get a release. The next is the hip joint itself. And it's just this general area is the hip socket. Again, she'll tell me exactly where. When I search for a blink, she'll tell me where I need to stay, right there. In her case, is right on this spot. I'll stay and stay and stay until I get a release. Here she's already starting to relax and fidget her hind end here. This is actually a very good demonstration of how this is going to work. She's giving me a lot of responses. So I'm going to move on. I would stay here until she gives me a lick and chew or a yawn. The next point is the stifle point. It's just inside of the horse's stifle. You won't necessarily want to be standing here. If the horse is sore in the stifles, you don't just want to stick your hand in there, but it's safer to stand here and search for a blink. Well, she's relaxing her leg right away with this one. The hip joint and the stifle point are 2 very good points for her. And the last point is the pubic symphysis, where the pelvis joins together in the back. Between these 2 butt bones, I'm going to put my thumb in here, one on each side inside of the butt bones, searching for a blink or a response. And whatever the response may be, in her case for the hip joint and the stifle point, it was actually relaxing the leg and breathing, letting out a breath. Those are the 2 points that I would say she can use the most work on. So those are the 6 points. The idea being that we want to get the horse to release tension in the muscles and the ligaments of the sacroiliac joint and the sacrolumbar junction before we ask for movement with the leg release, which we'll do next.
The Masterson Method aligns naturally with absorbing products and a whole horse approach towards better horse care. Visit www.absorbing.com for more on our absorbing line of products.